Now we're going to talk about color. So what form of color is screen color? What broad category of color is screen? Talked about that 10 minutes ago. I can't remember. RGB. You took a chance, 50-50, and got it right. So RGB. Not called that broad category, yes. Not talking split complementary, that kind of thing. We have an RGB. So if we go ahead and just create a new document. Doesn't really matter what size at this point. We're just going to show you how to work with some colors. I've created a new document and put this is a picture technically of the Maranatha branding guide. We'll talk about colors and why it matters. So color swatches are important. So you've opened up your document. You have your piece here. I'm going to go ahead and just create a couple random shapes here. Doesn't really matter what you create. Just create some squares or rectangles or circles. That we can start to put colors in them. I have three square-ish rectangle pieces here. I have them selected. How do I change the color? Remember? Select the object. Mr. Fill. Mr. Fill comes in quite a bit. Click my fill, and then you can select your color. Also have, not just choosing the swatch. By default, if I created a new document, which I did, I will have a number of swatches. This third panel here in the toolbar, up here a little bit, we've dealt with swatches a little bit, shows a range of colors. These are the colors by default when I do an Illustrator document, these swatches, third bar in this swatches bar. If you can't find it, remember you can always go to Window, and you can find it in here somewhere. There's many different options in front of you. Go to Window, and swatches I have open so it's selected. But if you can't find anything, always go to Window, and you'll find it. Swatches is open. It shows me all these swatches. There's values, different shades of gray. There's all this variety of colors. These are what we call registered swatches. Like you have registered, whatever, cars, guns, whatever you have to register anymore. They're registered. That means they're recorded. They're inside this file. What did I say, Will? Huh? Oh, it's something you were. Boats, you can register boats, yes. All the things you got to pay a tax on to register and pay the government to have it. All those wonderful things. I'll quit being political, I'll move on. We have our shape here. I can start to give it a color according to my swatches. By default, it will make my fill go that way. If I want to change the color, all I do is click my color, double click on it, and it opens up my swatch. We've done this a little bit. We're going to go deeper. So you just double click a swatch right in the swatches, and then I can change it in that regard. I've got my swatches. They're recorded as CMYK by default because it's Illustrator, and they're thinking you're probably going to do a lot of print work. I can change it if I want to a RGB or other options as well. I can do HSB, RGB, Lab, Web Safe Color, and Grayscale. You can pull it right up the mode to something different. If you have a branding guide, I'll talk about this here in a second too, which the file here I have has the different colors. Maranatha's blue, the Maranatha yellow, and then some of the versions to do with some of the sports teams. A brand typically has a set color. So it's not just any red for Coca-Cola, there's a specific red. It's not just any blue from Maranatha, you can kind of get it close. No, there's a specific color code. So if you're working with a color, it will have, and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it, according to their list, you can get this if you're working for a company, it'll usually have some different numbers. According to this number, I have, whoa, that's zoomed in. We have my colors here. So it tells me there's blue, and there's 4 different ways they write the word blue. So if I click my blue here, open up my blue, I could, by default, CMYK blue, I could call it MBU blue if I wanted. And I can make it match one of these ways. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to do, I'm in CMYK, let's keep it CMYK. 100, 87, 42, 52. So that I can change my different principles here to match that. So my cyan would be 87. My magenta, wait, I did that wrong. Cyan is, look at the wrong one. Cyan is 100. Magenta is 87. Yellow is 42. Black is 52. And that gives me the Maranatha blue. Like deep navy blue. So it's that specific. Of all the hundreds of different shades of navy blue, that's the one that they have. So you could type in, put all your numbers in here. I've changed the name, called it MBU blue. You can name it whatever you wanted, create your own special color for your, new shoe brand or whatever you're making now. Hit your OK. and I've now registered this color, the MBU blue. Okay, that's nice. I have brought in a picture here. I just went and placed or copied in a picture into my Illustrator file. You went and found it somewhere, Unsplash or somewhere else, or a logo from another company. If it's a picture, I can go ahead and bring it in. And I can also do a sample color from that particular piece. I'm going to go to my toolbar here. I think I'm in the classics mode, so they might have a few options. Let me see what I think the essentials, the essentials may not actually show the eyedropper tool. Oh, it does. The essentials does show the eyedropper tool. So even under essentials, which is your default, there's a little eyedropper tool. Eyedropper is not for like rescuing raccoons and possums that don't have a mommy. That's different. You could use it for that, I suppose, too. Click your eyedropper tool, and I can click somewhere on a picture, on a logo that I've already downloaded, and it will sample that color. When I do that, it also selects in the tool here, the bottom left, I have this color selected by what I click. So now I've got my color selected here. Note, I want to make a clear distinction here. This was a picture I took with my phone of a piece of paper of the colors. So the colors don't look accurate because my phone is different light colors and shades. You can see there's differences between bright and dark. So I wouldn't sample it typically to get a perfect example because there's many variations in this blue. But if I had a picture or if I brought in a logo from Subway or some other company, so a PNG, it's going to be the perfect color. You can bring that in. You can click on that color and you can have that color now register, or not register, I should say, into your color picker. So it shows me here's the color tone I have that I just went and clicked and picked from the picture. So let me go to my swatches again. And go to swatches. I have my colors here. I have this color now registered on the, not registered, I have very specific to my term here because it gets confusing. This color's here, it knows what it is in my fill color. It's up here, but it is not, because I chose a specific color in this picture, it's not added into my swatches registry. If I want to add it into my registry so this file remembers that I have this color exactly, what I need to do is I go to in the swatches, the little plus sign. Swatches. I hit new swatch, it creates a new swatch. So it'll remember the color they picked into the future. As long as I save an Illustrator file, I can come back and find this specific blue without having to go resample and get the exact one. So I hit new swatch. I can call it, says, okay, what do you want to call it? I can call it whatever I want. I can say color picker or whatever I wanted to choose. So it differentiates from anything else, and I hit OK. And it is slightly different than the color of Maranatha Blue because it's from the picture. There's my color. I can double click it, I can open it up. Think, okay, what does it really matter? Well, if you're only doing a couple of different things design and you have like 3 or 4 boxes, it's probably not the end of the world. You have 3 or 4 boxes, you can click each box and you can change it. If you want to change it from your blue to your sky blue, you can change it several different times. Not a big deal. But I do want to show you, and this is not like a campaign speech or anything, but I want to show you what I was working on a little while ago. I pulled this piece up.
Whoa.
I know, you might have seen it before. And I have actually got here set up 3 colors, red, green, blue. Red, blue, and then black. And I've got a white in here too. But all I've done is I went and deleted all the other swatches. And I have my red, my blue, and then the black colors that I've kind of used in some of my design. If I come here and I say, well, I'm working with a designer. It was me, obviously, in this instance. But let's say I was working with an agency, and you went and designed this complex piece with dozens and dozens of shapes of colors and boxes. And they say, no, I don't like that blue. It's the wrong blue. Make it yellow. Okay. What do? I click on my swatch, and I say, okay, let's just make it yellow. Why you'd want to do that? That's a good question. Well, let's say I messed up. All the instances that I use blue become yellow with one click. Except for the one instance where I forgot to change the one shape and make it registered. This one is an unregistered, illegal letter G. So because it had registered, it's not registered as the normal blue. It's just an open color. It's the same color, but before I went and didn't actually put it in the registry. So it doesn't remember that. So if you want to say, oh, I don't want yellow, let's go back to something else. We want green. Ooh, that looks very Christmas. That's nasty. Or whatever, McDonald's, yellow and Packers. I think I've got to change it to red. Whatever you want to do, you try to change your colors. But registered swatches, this would be an advantage. And granted, yes, I threw it in your face, but that was not necessarily the point. The point was you can have a design with lots of color choices, and you could then tweak your color or modify it extremely with a couple clicks. Go in, change your swatch. It changes anywhere in that design, which is pretty cool. Questions so far?
Colors in society with from colors on cars, and that cars were very popular and they sold more. Cars with the nice, beautiful wings on them.
Maybe there might have been some psychological factors there
I was wondering if they use those patterns, like the cars were very stylish. Black and Chevrolet, they had those wings on. They were elaborate enough to where it's like, oh, that's a.
It was stylish.
Yeah, it was very
Okay.
stylish.
A lot. Obviously, they had registered color paints. You know, they were painting all the colors to make them look consistent. I'm sure. Yep. But they had a color pattern. It was used psychologically as a marketing tool. So color can be useful to grab attention or to be stylish or attractive. When you look at your clothing, your cars, your jerseys, a lot of stuff is colors are chosen to grab attention and to sell.
Too, in the NFL, they went from only 2 colors, and then all of a sudden they went to 3 colors.
No, there's the marketing factor. Some of you that follow different NFL or other teams, you might change every few years, every decade or two, they might change their uniforms and their jerseys and the logo. Part of them might give it a refresh. It looks kind of neat and modern. Part of it is when they sell more jerseys. They do, it doesn't cost much to put all the team in a new jersey, and they have a home and a special jersey. They can sell another jersey to the rabid fan, and he goes and buys a $120 authentic jersey or whatever. So part of it's that. So, and it's kind of maybe nice to see a little different look of your team. It looks a little stylish. Good. Jacob, okay. We could also take, if we have this document, say I've used a specific red and blue. I don't want just any red and blue to be chose. You can also export your style colors. Here I went and deleted all the colors to make it simple. I have my colors here. I'm going to go ahead and click on one, and I'm going to select 4 colors. I have my red, blue, black, and white. I use them somewhere in the design. I want to make sure it's specific colors. I can export these into a group. So I could email them to someone else, or I could give them to someone else to use in their own document, say, these are the colors, just open them up and use them. So instead of having to specify, type this number in, select that color, one click, send off a swatch custom group. You select the colors you want. You could have all the other ones in here as well. I just select the colors I want. Go up to my little swatches panel. Goes up here. There's lots of options. We're not going to get all of them yet. And then I can save it as an ASE. It's Adobe Swatch something. I don't remember what the E stands for. Or an Illustrator file. If it's an Illustrator file, it's more limited because it's for Illustrator only. If you do this broader one, it's for all Adobe software. So you can bring in this color code for other ones. And then you name it as an ASE. You put it somewhere. And you can give it a title. Here's the Got Milky BW. Then I could then have this small itty bitty little file that I could go ahead and email to someone else or go from there. Another thing, which is really weird, if I go ahead and create a new, I haven't closed Illustrator, I hit new, create a new document, I lose those colors by default. They're not kept into that sign. So I could go ahead and here and open. I won't see it in my libraries if I want to import it back in. I go to open. I have all the other options. We looked at some of the patterns and colors and special things here. I go to other library. That's where I import my new one, the one that I just created. I hit open. Go find where my file was. It's right here. Yep, and then there's my swatches. So it brings it in. So it's also between documents. It's also, you can share it with a collaborator if you're working with a group of designers or other people. So it's just, if you have 3 colors, not a huge deal. But if you have more colors or specifics of a painting spread, you can save them, share them, export them pretty easily. Now we're going to get into gradients. This gets a little trickier, and that's why the video is recording. If you want to reference in the future, you're welcome to. If I click a color, double click, it opens up the menu. I can change the color. Piece of cake. Gradients are not that way. Gradients are the exception, just like English has exceptions. I have a gradient. There's a gradient here by default. I'm going to go ahead and create a new gradient. Take this area, select it. I'm going to go ahead and just hit new gradient. So basically I hit new. When it's already selected, it creates a copy. So it leaves the original. I hit new, it creates a copy. But if I double click the gradient, all it lets you do, no matter what you do, in this stage of swatches, it'll let you just change the title of the name. Like, why not just double click it and it opens it up and I can change all the colors? No, Adobe, you should change that. 2023, upgrade. I don't know why you don't do it this way, but they do. I could double click that, nothing happens. What I need to do that is I need to find the gradients package. Depending on what your panels are, you'll see a gradient package here. If you don't see it, I don't see it. Go up to Window, go up to Gradient. Gradient, it'll pop up, or you could have it on the side of your toolbar, depending on where it is in your software. Now I have the gradient selected, and it's in here. Then I can change the gradient. Not by double clicking like all the other swatches, that'd be too easy. Now I then change, I click my white, double click my white dot, and I can make it, someone give me a color besides white or black. Green. Okay, let's do green. Kind of a green color. Someone else give me a different color between green or, besides green or black. Blue? Okay, like what kind of blue? Like baby blue?
Base sky blue.
Sky blue? Okay, something like that. Okay, that's beautiful. So I'm going green and blue. And then they also have this little diamond here. This is the gradient of how fast or how it changes. I can move that, flex it around a little bit, and it'll change how much or how quickly that change happens, where it happens, these subtle changes. If I click off in the toolbar, just not on the top, on the bottom side of the toolbar, I can add another color. I click in there and then say I want to make it bright yellow. That's beautiful. My green, my yellow, my blue, and it looks like some 1970s hippie colors or something. I don't know. Very bright, very bold, very free to do what you want to do. And I can then change my gradients to go from there. And not only can you change the colors, you can also then change the direction if it comes at a different angle. By default, it's vertical, 0 degrees. You can change the angle. You can change if it's more of a linear or a radial or a free-forming gradient. You can have that change in many different ways. Let me go ahead and just draw. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yes. And I can change that, how it's going to look. My different angles or patterns, customizable. Yes, James.
I have gradient, but I only got black and white and gray.
Okay, I'll be with her in just a second. I want to finish this out so the video doesn't go any longer, then we'll get to that question. I'll help you out in just a second. Any other questions on this gradient process, like why we should or shouldn't? When I selected it in my swatches, it became a register. Oh, I didn't actually hit OK. I lost my change. But if it's in your swatches, it's registered. If it's not in your swatches, you can still have it in a box, but it won't be registered if you want to change all of them at once or to have that exact color. It'll just be kind of be free forming in the box. So they can be unregistered and in your work without being in the swatches, but it's a good idea to have in your swatches just for ease of use and transferring and getting specific colors for other boxes.